Protect your DNA. BioPQQ can promote formation of new mitochondria. Infowarsstore.com.
Now we see schools involved in all types of things, and now they're getting into 3D printing. And we see Wake Forest students are printing living body parts. This is very interesting indeed, because my understanding of 3D printing technology, at least from the stuff that I've researched and reported on, there's a lot of people making toys, or they make firearms or components of firearms, any number of things. You can make, sculptures, anything pretty much you can make on these printers now. But they have the body parts now. And they say the new approach mixes live cells with a gel that starts out as a liquid, but quickly hardens to the consistency of living tissue. And layers them with tiny tunnels that serve as passages for nutrients to feed cells until blood vessels can grow in and do the job naturally. So it's a very interesting and strange time to be alive. It reminds me of kind of, the sci-fi movies, all these artificial body parts. And I guess it's becoming somewhat of a reality where you can actually grow things, because you see things like troops who have arm replacements or hearing aids, pacemakers, stuff like that. But if you can actually grow things now in petri dishes, it's a very interesting time to be alive. And it's so interesting that the CIA wants to know everything that you do. Now, if you guys haven't been paying attention, we've seen the CIA come out and say that they will spy on you throughout your dishwasher. They're not really supposed to be active here domestically, but they are anyway. They're supposed to be involved in foreign entanglements and stuff like that. But we know that they're doing things here. Actually, Governor Ventura has been on this show, and he talked about his experience with the CIA, I believe, when he first became governor. He said some guys wanted to meet him in a basement or whatever it was, and he walked around. He's like, hey, I want to know all your names and, what your position in the CIA is. He said some of them answered him, some of them they didn't. He didn't even know if they gave their real names. But the point is, they're really not supposed to be active here domestically. But if you're going to be active here domestically, you should do something to keep the American people safe. And we've seen numerous terror attacks, and they always give the justification that there's plenty of things that go on that we have no idea about. And that probably is true. It reminds me of that scene, I believe it was in Men in Black, the first one, where Tommy Lee Jones's character is talking to Will Smith. He said there's always some type of incident, just people don't know about it, so they go on living happy, normal lives. I'm sure plenty of that stuff does happen, and they do stop things that we don't even know about. But we've seen enough things that have happened in the United States of America here on domestic soil that makes you question how effective are these guys being with this mass data collection. They can't even pinpoint the things like what happened in San Bernardino, many other things that have happened here as well. And now we see that the CIA director went on 60 Minutes, and they say he's the man that's supposed to stop terror attacks. But the director of the CIA is doing a rare interview to talk about the recent terrorism here in the United States of America.
When does terrorism end?
I don't think terrorism ends. Terrorism has been with us for millennia. Unfortunately, the means of destruction, the ability to kill a lot of people in a very short period of time, has just increased markedly.
And finally tonight, this past weekend, we had the Republican debate. Now, I know a lot of people have pretty much given up on watching the debates after Rand Paul left. I was pretty much done with them myself, because it's basically a bunch of people on either stage, whether they're Republicans or Democrats, a bunch of people I have no interest in voting for. I think it's just the one person talking about how they're going to wreck the country worse than the next person. Personally, at the election was held tomorrow, I'm probably going to vote for John McAfee of the Libertarian Party. I'm definitely interested in many of the positions he has to say. But let's talk about the Republican front runner. I guess one of the Republican front runners. They keep trying to push up Rubio. Ted Cruz is doing well in various polls. But we see Trump talking about the debate. Debate tickets should go to the general public, not special interests. Now, the Donald says many things that I don't agree with, whether it's just his personal opinions or his official policy. But I do agree with him on this matter when he's talking about how they bring these special interest groups to come in and cheer their candidates and boo guys like Donald Trump, because you see this over and over again, not just this past debate, past debates before that, where anytime he would say something, Mr. Trump, what do you think about this? He was like, well, I think boo, boo. They start from the beginning, just booing this guy all the way out the stadium. But he's getting away from that, because just like we saw, he held his own event. He stepped out one of the debates, held his own event, did very well, and he's getting publicity for that. And I definitely do encourage more presidential candidates not to be beholden to the mainstream narrative and just go out and do their own events like Rand Paul or Donald Trump. And finally, we see Trump. He is threatening to sue Ted Cruz over his eligibility or possibly lack thereof. Many people have various opinions on whether or not Ted Cruz is a viable presidential candidate because of his, not nationality, but his natural born citizen status. So only time will tell if this becomes an issue in the larger mainstream apparatus. But as of right now, they're pushing out Ted Cruz and guys like Marco Rubio as the golden boy.
Brain Force is here. Ladies and gentlemen, I've been on this the last few months. You probably noticed I've been more crazed, more focused, less brain fog, more energy, more special reports, and it's because of Brain Force.
One of the worst things with most energy products is it's not sustainable, right? You're gonna crash and gonna feel really bad afterwards. This has a bunch of different antioxidants and compounds and polyphenols.
Everybody's on these drugs to knock their brain out because the brain's so fried.
We kept changing this formula over and over and over again until it became sort of a grand puzzle. For example, the L-theanine inside of it, that is activated by the different compounds in the yerba mate that we put inside of it as well. This just increases the compounds you already have.
This is what you're actually designed to run on.
Exactly.
It's kind of like a car will run on one form of junkie gas, but it runs really good on what it's designed for. You will find Brain Force, Survival Shield X2, and other game-changing products at InfoWarsLife.com or call 888-253-3139.